Not quite my tempo.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Hello, everybody. It's episode 76 of Multiplex Loves Movies. Sweet mercy. It's this is a rough week. Not a lot of news this week, but what we do have are three people here who care more about movie news than anyone on the planet, which is why we are the only surviving movie news show on YouTube. It's the only one left. We're the remnants of everything. I am Tim. Welcome to the show. Let's go to Maggie. Maggie.
Yeah.
How the hell are you?
I'm good. I'm not as cold as I was last week. It's amazing how tropical 12 degrees can feel.
It's accurate. Robert, how are you doing?
I'm hella good, Timothy.
Okay.
That's about it.
That's about it.
I concur with Maggie's statement about warmth.
Yeah, 12 degrees here in Wisconsin. Kind of wanted to walk around in shorts today, but I
almost did.
I think I might tomorrow. It's going to be 18.
Oh, let's do it.
I think I might do it. I think wherever Kaleb Koho is, it's still like 4 degrees there. So rip. But yeah, no, very, very getting warm here. I love how we think this is like the most tropical thing ever, but it's true. Maggie's correct. Welcome to the show. We're a movie news show. We're going to talk about the movie news. It's going to be really exciting. And the first bit of news we are going to talk about is actually something I'm really excited to talk about. Something happened this weekend. Maggie actually brought this to my attention on yesterday morning, and then I read about it more in the evening. China had a big box office weekend, specifically with the release of Detective Chinatown 3. Now, this movie was supposed to come out last year around this same exact time, and obviously that didn't happen because reasons. And it's out now. And the movie not only crushed at the box office, but it actually beat the opening of Avengers Endgame in China, which is kind of a huge deal. So to put it in perspective, Avengers Endgame previously held the record of $357 million during an opening weekend in North America. I'm sorry, excuse me, before about China.
The record for single market opening.
Single market opening. Thank you, Maggie. So that was 357 million just in North America for Endgame. Detective Chinatown 3 this weekend in China made $398 million. China as a total did over $700 million in box office revenue this weekend alone. This is awesome. This is a good sign that people are ready to get back to the movies, whether it's in China or here or wherever. We haven't seen this kind of transfer over to North America yet. Granted, we haven't had a movie in North America that's kind of like demanded this, but from what I understand, Detective Chinatown 3 is kind of the Avengers Endgame for a lot of people there. This was a highly anticipated movie for a lot of people. I think it's really cool. This is really exciting. This is promising that people want to get back into the movies, whether they're in America, China, wherever you are. It's exciting to see people wanting to get back and spending money, and that theaters are doing it safely. That's the important thing, that everyone's being safe. I love this. Maggie, what do you think?
Yeah, I brought it to your attention because I too am very excited. It's a huge indicator that things might get better, and just throwing it out there that China has had almost very few new cases since April. Basically, they've had less than 100 new cases a day. So I think that for the US, the problem is that is not the numbers that we have. So people are still concerned about going to theaters, but maybe by May, when we talk about something else, things will be different, and we will see this kind of box office numbers here in the US. But I think that everyone in the industry here should be super excited about those numbers.
Yeah, Robert, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Maggie. I think we're pretty far away from that happening, I think, here. even just anything close to those numbers. Excuse me. But definitely hopeful, definitely something to look forward to. And I'm surprised that even like, in a for them barely post-pandemic world, they were able to come out in those kind of droves. Like that's definitely just an indicator for the industry that people aren't sick of movie theaters. Like people want that experience. People want to see movies in theaters. Like it's not all about the Disney Pluses and the Netflixes and the Hulus of the world. Like that experience is still something that like the people of the world long for.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll keep an eye on the box office goings on of the world, and we'll keep talking about it as it happens. But let's move on to the next thing. The next thing I want to talk about, kind of a big deal. This one's kind of big. It's kind of shocking to me that this hasn't happened already, but we're getting a remake of a film. Was not expecting this. New Line has greenlit a remake of The Wizard of Oz. Now, not a spin-off like Oz the Great and Powerful that Disney did, not a sequel, which Disney also did way back when, The Return to Oz or whatever, not an adaptation of another book, but a remake of the original film. This is interesting. I don't love The Wizard of Oz. Like, I like it a lot. Like, I've seen it as a kid a bunch of times. I've seen it as an adult maybe once. Like I think maybe a few years ago I saw it and I haven't seen it since. But I don't. So it's not like this thing that's like held in my heart forever. But this to me feels a little icky. This feels like one of those like classics we shouldn't be touching, especially if they're going to be making it a musical and keeping the songs and adding stuff. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Robert, what do you think?
Yeah, we'll see. It's interesting because like the version of Wizard of Oz that like everybody holds in such high esteem was like already a remake, I think. Yeah. I'm pretty sure like it was already a remake of like a silent movie or of like a very early black and white film. So, the one that we hold as like the almighty classic like was already a remake. So I know it's many, many, many years later, 80, 90 plus years later, but like maybe it's like the sign that we can still remake things and make them good. I don't know. I'm skeptical, but also there's a lot of talented people in Hollywood right now, and talented people don't always make good things. But if they get the right like cast and director, and if they get the right crew around it, I'm not one of the people with the pitchforks saying don't touch it.
This is coming from, I don't know if she is the director or what her role is, but I believe this is coming from, her name is Nicole Castle. She was one of the directors of HBO's Watchmen. Right. So I don't know if she's directing or producing or writing or what she's doing, but she's the one kind of spearheading this thing as of now. Maggie, does that give you any hopes?
I mean, of course, I can't imagine that they would remake this movie and not get the best people to do it, because there's really no point in doing it if you're going to do that. So, I mean, I'm really in the camp with Robert. Like, I am honestly shocked that it's taken this long. And I'm sure that, like, there's a lot of different things to do, because it's a book, The Wizard of Oz. So, like, there's things to do from there that is still technically a remake of the movie, but that it could have its own life potentially. So, right. I mean, I'm interested in seeing a new take on it.
It doesn't have to be shot for. Sorry, I didn't mean it doesn't have to be shot. It doesn't have to be shot for shot. Like when people hear remake, I think often that's what they like immediately think of is like Gus Van Sant's Psycho or something like that, where it's literally just like a shot for shot remake that nobody likes and everybody is angry about it for months on end. Yeah. And it very well could be that, but like Maggie said, there's a lot of creative directions that you can take a lot of stories, whether they're based on something or not. You could very much argue that like Rise of the Planet of the Apes is like a remake or reimagining of the original. Like there's arguments to make that remakes or reimaginings or retellings of the same story that are done in a modern, unique way can succeed.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. This one I think comes to no surprise. It comes at no surprise, but we'll talk about it anyway. Zack Snyder was being interviewed about, things that he's doing, and he basically said Warner Brothers has zero interest in pursuing a Justice League 2, coming off the heels of the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder's Justice League, whatever you want to call it. They have no interest in making another one of these. This doesn't shock me. I don't think this speaks to the quality of the Snyder Cut or whatever. I don't think that's the reason. I think they just kind of are not interested in going that direction anymore. Something else in this article that I read was something about how the Snyder Cut is apparently like humorless, which I was like, ooh, great. Just like Man of Steel and BVS. We're just going on that track again. So that's definitely not the way they're going now with things like Shazam, Birds of Prey, Aquaman. They're not Wonder Woman 84. They're not leaning into the like overly serious anymore. This doesn't surprise me. Maggie, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised either. Like, they announced Wonder Woman 3 like 2 days after 1984 was out. Like, if they were going to do a Justice League 2, we would know about it by now. And I'm not surprised that they're not bringing him back. Like, clearly there were issues on the filming of Justice League. And whatever the Snyder Cut is, that they were able to make their relationship work, and he was able to get Warner Brothers to pay for these stupid reshoots. But, like, I imagine they don't have a great relationship, and that he should maybe try to do something else with his time, because things have not worked out for him that well in this arena.
Yeah.
Robert, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in a similar camp with Meg. I'm very anti Snyder Cut in general, anti Zack Snyder comic book movie, except for 300 in general. And like, I just don't love him as a director, and like, I don't really care that there's not going to be like a Justice League 2, or at least one that's helmed by Zack Snyder. Like, shame. I didn't really love. I guess we haven't seen his artistic vision for the first one yet, but I can't imagine it's going to be anything groundbreaking. I think it's so. I don't really care. I like the 3 or even 4. I liked 184. I like the 4 newest sort of DCU movies more than all the other ones. So I don't mind that they're going in a little bit more lighthearted, more humor direction, like bring in a director who's good at that and just make a good movie. DC has struggled with that for a while. And yeah, I want Zack Snyder, like, if he's going to continue directing, I want him to like go away for like 5 or 6 years and just like do a passion project. Just like spend a really, really long time developing a story that he's really, really, really passionate about, and then make like an excellent, excellent movie and show us like, oh, well, he's a great filmmaker. Because granted, I haven't seen every one of his movies, but I have not ever seen a movie of his that I'm like, wow, that's great.
Yeah, he has another one coming out on Netflix this year. I forget. I think it's called Army of the Dead or something. It's a zombie action movie, which, I mean, he made Dawn of the Dead. I think Dawn of the Dead's pretty good. So
right, that's the one I haven't. That's like one of the big ones that I haven't seen.
Yeah, so I mean, he's stepping into that arena, and it's got a bunch of famous people, and I don't remember all the names. I know Batista's in it. So I mean, I don't think that's going to be the passion project of his life there. But
right.
I agree with Robert. I think that's probably what's the best for everyone. So we'll move on to the next thing. The next thing is we have a villain cast for Captain Marvel 2. We assume the villain. I don't know if they officially said that they are the villain, but every report that I read basically said that. The actress is Zawe Ashton. The only thing I've seen her in is Velvet Buzzsaw and Greta. Everything else on her IMDb, I've never seen, haven't heard of most of it. And honestly, like, looking at the pictures of her in the movies that I have seen, I don't even remember her very much. So I don't think that's a testament to who as an actress. I just think that's a testament to Velvet Buzzsaw and Greta weren't very good. But clearly, she's got the attention of Marvel somehow, and she's going to be in this movie. She joins Brie Larson, as well as Teyana Paris, who plays Monica Rambeau on WandaVision. She's going to be in there as well. And as well as Iman Vellani, who's going to be playing Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, on the Miss Marvel show, will also be in that film as well. So we're rounding out a cast here a little bit. Maggie, you and I talked about this yesterday, I think, when it dropped, and you basically said the same thing. Like, you have no idea who this person is, but what do you think about the news?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited that, they're continuing to cast women, and people of color. So I think that's a step in the right direction, and I'm excited to see whatever it ends up being. Really, I mean, with Marvel, MCU just kind of let them do what they do. God, Guardian, that. God
Do you remember loving those books?
Yeah.
We read there's like 15 of them. We owned every single one of those
that
books.
movie's bad.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen it since theaters.
Yeah, we watched it.
Watched it in theaters.
Recently. Not recently,
you guys
last year. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's casting news. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. It feels very much like the Ant-Man casting. What's his face is Kang. Like, I don't know who that guy is, but I trust that he'll be fine and that Marvel wouldn't have hired him if he couldn't do the job.
It's fair. Robert, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Maggie. I have no idea who any of these people really are, but also like the MCU has done that, but like the MCU has done both sides of things, right? Like they've taken like relatively established actors and actresses and made them turn out really good performances. You know, like a Mads Mikkelsen or like so who have Paul Rudd. Like they've taken people who are like established and made them like really, really good. And they've also taken people who were relatively unknowns at the time. Like Chris Hemsworth was not like a household name in 2011. He had been in Star Trek and maybe one other thing. Like, so I have no problem with them sort of reaching him to obscurity to bring out some really, really good actors and good performances. And yeah, as far as I was going to say one more thing. I don't remember what it was. I'll remember it later, and I'll come back to it. Sorry.
Sounds good. What I was gonna say was, without going into spoilers, how do we feel about Monica Rambeau, adult version from WandaVision, joining? We obviously don't know where her character is at the end of WandaVision, but she's gonna be in this movie. I like her as Monica Rambeau, so I'm excited to see her. Robert, what do you think?
She's great. I love the character, and I think she's like portraying the character really, really well. Obviously, don't want to get into spoilers too much, but yeah, I really, really like that the character. I mean, spoiler, the character's on the show, but like, I really like that I like what they've done with her so far. I really think that there's a lot of potential for that character moving forward.
And Maggie, what about you?
Yeah, same. There's clearly a lot of layers, a lot of things that we don't know based on the show that seem to indicate that there are things that we will have to learn later and that are setting things up for a Captain Marvel 2. So I'm excited to see where that leads.
3 episodes left. Do you
know if the other director's back for Captain Marvel 2?
No. It's Nia Costa. Is that her name?
She did the Candyman movie that hasn't come out yet.
The new Candyman remake. Yeah,
we talked about it a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she'll be back. Yeah. The two people whose name, Anna Boden
and Ryan Fleck.
Ryan Fleck. Yeah. They are not returning, which not the worst thing in the world in my opinion. But let's move on to the next thing. The next thing is kind of a multi-layered thing. On the surface, it looks kind of simple, but overall, there's a lot of layers here. The name of the Disney CEO, who I'm completely Bob something Chapek. Is it Chapek?
Yeah.
He went on an interview 4 days ago and basically said, "Hey, Black Widow's not getting delayed. It's coming out in May. It's happening. Get ready. Let's go." And Kevin Feige then three days ago, a day later, said, "It's gonna be in theaters. We're excited. Fuck Disney Plus. It's happening. I want it in theaters. We're not doing day and date. It's not happening." And now yesterday, reports come out that Disney basically has a month left to decide. If basically what that means is March, like middle of March comes and it's not pushed, it's coming in May and it's happening. Or we're going to hear about it being delayed sooner. We all know where I stand on this, but I firmly believe this thing should be in theaters. If they did day and date, like they are doing with Raya, with premium access on Disney Plus, and in theaters the same day, I think that's probably what's going to end up happening, though I don't really want that to happen, but I think that's probably where we're headed. But I have a very good feeling that we will be seeing this movie in theaters in May. Robert, Black Widow, are you still looking forward to it, or is the waiting kind of not as excited anymore? I cut out.
Oh, I think Robert's
Hello,
frozen.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Okay,
I
go
froze.
ahead, Robert.
Yeah.
I'm back now.
Are you still
I was
excited
just
for
gonna-
Black Widow?
No, yeah, I heard the question. I started answering, and then you guys started spinning. Okay, sorry, Tim stood really still there.
You're good.
Okay, all right. So I was never one of the people who was like, "Oh man, Black Widow! It's been my most anticipated MCU movie of all time." Blah 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 blah. Like even a year ago, I was like, "Yeah, like I'll go see it because I'm a Marvel shill." But like, I don't really. I haven't been like theorizing about this movie. I haven't been like, oh man, this is like the dramatic linchpin for the whole MCU. So there's been some anticipation, but there's just as much now as there was a year ago. The waiting hasn't really delayed it. I hope it's in theaters as well. But also, it makes sense for Disney to do what's best money-wise. Like in Phase 3 of the MCU, how many of those movies didn't gross like $1 billion worldwide? Like maybe 2 of them. 3 of them maybe, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, and
Phase 3.
Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I'm gonna look.
Go ahead. Ant-Man and the Wasp didn't. That was like 600 something. Yeah. But like Captain Marvel, both Infinity War and Endgame, Far From Home, like those all made $1 billion, and Thor Ragnarok and Guardians 2 and Homecoming, I'm not sure. But like the MCU is making a lot of money right now, and I don't think that the time off is like slowing down their IP on how much money they'll make. So I think it makes sense for them to wait as long as they need to make their money from a business standpoint. That being said, I really want to go see this movie in theater with you guys.
Homecoming did not. Guardians 2 did not. Ant-Man and the Wasp did not, and Doctor Strange did not. But it seems like
the rest of them, that right, and all of those were still like broadly wide and away financial successes. Like,
oh yeah, like Thor Ragnarok didn't get there, but it made $850 million.
Like, that's so much fucking money.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Like Disney bought Marvel for what, $4 billion? That's 2 Avengers Endgames.
Yeah.
Like that's just crazy. So from a business standpoint, it makes sense for them to do whatever strategy they will for making the most money.
Maggie, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, it seems pretty clear that, pretty clear, like I don't actually know, but Kevin Feige seems pretty set on theaters, like theaters, and not the other way around. Like he's creating content for Disney Plus, but that's Disney Plus content, and it's not a shared thing. Like some stuff's going to be in theaters and some stuff's going to be on Disney Plus. And I would not be surprised, honestly, if it got delayed till like the fall, like November, just because the vaccine rollout's been a lot slower, I think, than people were hoping. But by November, that could be a totally different story, and we could have a box office weekend like China did. So I honestly would rather them just push the movie instead of compromise and make it be both on Disney Plus and in the theaters on the same day. That might be an unpopular opinion. I'm not dying to see Black Widow. Like I wasn't super excited for it to start with, and now we sort of are getting our MCU fill a little bit with WandaVision, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier will be coming out soon as well. So I think I could last until November, but I really hope that they don't succumb to the Disney Plus thing, because I think that would be a real loss for theaters at this time.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. It'll be interesting to see how Raya does. I think maybe they wait for that,
right?
Because Raya is already available to pre-order tickets in the theater, and it's available to pre-order on Disney Plus. So if you go to Disney Plus now, you can pre-order the thing. Anybody who shares my account, hint hint, everyone on this call, you will have access to Raya the day of, because I already pre-ordered it. And I bought tickets in theater too. See, that's the thing. Maggie and I were talking about this last night. No matter what the case is, I just think it's important that we support the movies. So whether you're buying tickets in the theater, you're buying the premium access, and you're not torrenting movies, you're not stealing them. And granted, I'm not clean of that ever, but I'm just saying that, like, yes, if you want to get things, you have to pay for them sometimes. So I spent $30 on Raya on Disney Plus. I spent $30 on Raya to buy tickets to see it on a huge ultra screen for me and Maggie, because It's the way it was made. It was the way it was meant to be seen and the way it was what it was made for. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. But we'll see what happens come May. It's creeping up. It's like 2.5 months away, which is kind of disgusting to think about. 3 months away, 3 months. So it's kind of gross how close this is, but we'll find out very soon if Black Widow will be in theaters or not. We'll find out very soon. Guys, like I said at the top of the show, not a lot of news this week. That's the show. We did it. We did it in 25 minutes. We got this thing done. Next week, exciting news. Watch along. We're doing a watch along next week because the news is slow. We haven't picked yet, but I have a very strong idea of what I would like to watch. So we're going to talk about it as a group. And then we will be back and we'll let you guys know in the Facebook page what the watch along will be. But I'm very excited about that. So we'll be doing that next week. And then there's some other interesting stuff coming down the pike from Multiplex Lives Movies. So be on the lookout for that. As well as other stuff going on this week. YLS is back tomorrow. I forget what they're doing. Holtzman is hosting, but I don't remember what they're talking about. He's doing something, but Holtzman is hosting tomorrow. I know that. And then Warzone is back Thursday and Friday. Fandom Saturday and Sunday, as well as 2X Trivia Night. If you haven't seen Multiplex Miscellaneous from yesterday, go check that out. Lots of stuff going on. So be on the lookout for all of the awesome stuff going around here at Multiplex. So guys, for Robert, for Maggie, for myself, thank you so much for talking about the little news we had today. We'll see you next week for a watch along.
You're still here? It's over.
She's out of our hair, and just when I dare to care, she says, au contraire, you're my pair of friends. I love you.
Keep it together, man.